Hey friends, it's Kari from the Alfred Homestead, and I'm so excited to share with you our Hugelkultur bed that we made. So, if you're unaware, Hugelkultur means mound culture in German, and it's actually a bed primarily made of wood. It is a permaculture style method. And if you haven't seen my other video on a permaculture layered bed, go check that out. This one is different because the vast majority of this bed is comprised of wood scraps, logs, branches, trimmings from trees, things that you have lying around on your property already. Here's how we did our bed. First, we started by digging into that topsoil just about 4 to 6 inches, and this is a 10 by 4 rectangle. You can do them much bigger or smaller, just depending on how much material you have on hand. This is some wood scraps and logs and rotting logs that we got from the woods nearby, as well as some leftover horse manure over there to the side. We will also be using that in our bed as well. Planted this bed specifically to be close to these materials, so I did not have to break my poor husband's back creating this bed. So after you have dug out a section in your property, save that soil, by the way, because we will be using it later in the bed. But the first layer is going to be wood. Now, keep in mind, you don't want to use a hardwood like cedar, for instance. That's going to take a long time to break down. You also want to avoid certain trees that have chemicals that are going to deter your plants from growing, like black walnut, for instance. Just do a quick Google search and figure out what tree is going to be best. We're using mainly oak. So we're just going to break down some of these bigger logs. You don't even have to do this, but because this is a smaller Hugelkultur bed, we're going to go ahead and do it that way. They're already half rotted, so he's just taken a sledgehammer to it to help break it down. Now, the thing about the wood is that it helps to improve drainage, which is huge for us and our property, but it also acts as a sponge for moisture retention. So not only are you having to water less, but you have better drainage. And for us, that's a huge bonus for this property. The other thing is you don't have to fertilize these beds because as the wood breaks down, it creates a lot of fungi, and the fungi, we welcome that, right, for the ecological garden. It breaks down stubborn substances, it produces disease-fighting compounds, and all these other nutrients that are beneficial for your plants over many years. And the great thing about this is that it shouldn't cost you anything. You're just using the soil that you put in here to begin with, and just wood scraps that you have, be it branches, logs, bark, mulch. Again, you're just using what you have on hand. Okay, so we're gonna pile that about 2 feet high. You can go higher that if you want. You can go 3 feet high if you were so inclined and had enough materials on hand. This made a really fun family project. The girls loved helping to fill in all the gaps. You want to make sure you try and fit everything compactly as possible. You can step on it, for instance, to help compact it down more. To help compact this a little bit further, once you have your layer of wood, top it off with a layer of straw or dry leaves just to help compact it even further. So over time, as the wood breaks down, those leaves will, in theory, help to fill in the gaps so that you don't have any holes or anything that form over time. So really try and make this compact as possible. And we started with the bigger pieces of wood and worked our way up to the smaller pieces. Again, however you want to compact it, step on it, jump on it, have a party with your friends with a couple beers, and just compact it as much as you can, because you will get the most out of your bed if you do so. Now, after we've put our wood down, we've put a good 4 to 5 inches of the dried leaves on top of that as well, which again only serves to help further create more nutrients over time in this bed. Fall, winter is a really good time to create these beds because they need about 4 months or so before you can realistically plant in them. So now we're going to put a layer of horse manure down. We ended up putting about 2 wheelbarrow fulls down here, and you can use any type of nitrogen. So whether that's a manure of some sort or a compost, for instance. We did not want to waste our precious earned compost on this style bed, so we just opted for regular horse manure that has not been decomposed, but it will decompose along with everything else in this bed and provide lots of nutrients over the long run. And you'll actually find that the first season this bed will perform, but it gets better over the years. That's the great thing about the Hugelkultur beds, is that it ripens and gets more valuable over time. The other advantage to this style bed is the temperature. You get a temperature boost. So you can actually plant some of your things a little bit earlier, like 2 to 4 weeks earlier, because of the temperature difference. For instance, potatoes really love Hugelkultur beds, and you can actually plant them a little bit earlier than you normally would. So that is another benefit, especially if you're in a colder climate. So now we are going to put that soil that we took out, we're going to put it right back on top. Hugelkultur beds is like one of the few exceptions for digging into the soil with permaculture, but it's a very good exception. And you can see our chickens are loving all of the worms and everything that's going on from the horse manure pile that we scraped clean. So at this point, our bed is just about 3 feet high between being down in the soil and being raised up. And you want it as a mound because over time it will flatten out. So you don't want it to spread out too much. Create more of a mound. That way, over the course of 4 to 6 months, it will even out and flatten out for you to plant. So the final layer is to put again, some leaves or straw, some dry material to protect it from erosion. I prefer to stay away from plastic, but you can use a tarp if you would like. And my other big tip for these beds to increase the efficiency is to lay a perimeter of cardboard. That way you're not having to fight weeds and grass off of your bed in the midsummer. Okay, you guys, this is what it looks like. We just laid some mulch to weigh down that cardboard and form a border. You can put some logs or something like that if you want more of a raised border, but you don't have to. I hope you guys found that informative and enjoyable to watch. It's hard to even see that it's a bed. It just kind of looks like a mound of leaves, but trust me, over time, this will be a huge powerhouse in the garden for all kinds of plants like potatoes, squashes, melons, and any other vines like that. Your imagination is the limit here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.